All right, today I got the SWAT team on here. A little bit different. We have two guests instead of our normal one. Todd, I'm going to start with you. Tell me how SWAT team started and how you've built the team.
Started several years ago when I decided I wanted a team, and I used to be a police officer, so that's kind of how the SWAT came about.
Okay, cool.
And I just ran with it.
And then when did you join?
I joined about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, I guess, at this point, and I had kind of hit a point in my real estate career where I was like, do I want to build my own team? Do I want to stay as a single agent? So I called Todd to ask some questions, and he said, let's talk a little bit. So we talked and kind of have worked out a little deal, and things have gone really well. So that's kind of how here we are at this point. Yeah. So, yeah.
So you guys originally agreed to come on the podcast with one main message, which is the toy drive that you've been doing.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about the toy drive and what brought your heart to actually spend. I mean, honestly, you've got your moving truck involved. You've got agents involved. It's not just a simple like spread the word. You guys are actually dumping some money and time into this. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of moving parts. A lot of money to get sponsorships. You know, ultimately we're after the toys, but
right.
I'll kind of let Traci. You know, she kind of hit the ground running and visiting sponsors and how that worked.
Yeah, so we started a little late this year. Actually, this coming year we're going to be starting in January looking for sponsors, but we finally secured our big sponsor with Huff Hines, and at that point things started rolling. It was so nice, but we were looking.
Huff Hines, the dealership.
Huff Hines, yep, Huff Hines,
Okay, cool.
Kia and Hyundai and McKinney. Both jumped in and helped us, and when they did that, it really helped us get rolling with everything, and it was really nice at that point. We had a few sponsors at that point. We had some inspection companies and roofers and things like that as well, and that we had an event, and it was great, and we wanted a big children's event. We had done this the previous year, and we did a chili cook-off, and we were like, how can we make this bigger and better? So we moved it from Anna to McKinney, and we decided to make it a children's Christmas, kind of a Christmas kickoff event for kids, and we had inflatables and
we had a list of wants.
Mm-hmm.
We had an event, but this is what we really wanted to do to make it big, and we fulfilled pretty much everything on the list.
We got to bring in live reindeer. We got to bring in a cotton candy artist and all kinds of extra things on top of our balloon artist and
Santa.
The inflatables and Santa and the things that we had already kind of secured ahead of time. But
How many toys have you guys gathered so far?
Well, last year what did we do last year?
Last year we did about 2,500 toys and about $10,000 worth. This year we ended up at about 3,800, I think was right, about the 3,800, and we were pushing the $20,000 mark at this point. So yeah,
well, we still got time, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
we got
absolutely.
a month to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So-
Probably one of the coolest things I've ever been involved with. Basically, a friend of mine started this 15 years ago, a nonprofit in Iowa, and he kind of wanted to spread out. He does it in Arizona also. He called me up and said, hey, we need to get this going in Dallas. And sure.
Yeah.
We didn't realize how much work it was to put into it, but
Anything fundraising is a lot more than people think because you want to make it attractive for people to come.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that weird part where you got to spend a little money to get people to donate money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, no, we had no idea. We said, hey, we want to make this a little bit bigger event than the previous year, and we had no idea what we had gotten into when we jumped into that.
Thousands of dollars to
Yeah.
put on a fundraiser as we realized. It's like, wow.
Yes.
That's part one. You know, having the event and having all these activities to attract people. Part two is, are they going to show up and bring the toys? Because that's ultimately what we're after.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And
that
it worked out.
it worked out great. Todd was really stressed coming up to it, and I said, hey, it's wedding day. I mean, that's kind of, when it happens, it's just like it's wedding day. It's going to happen.
Yep.
It is what it is. We know we have notes on how to improve and what to do better next year, but it was, it turned out great. About an hour in, we looked at each other and we were able to go, okay, we're good to go, and we were able to just enjoy the event at that point, and
And I
really,
saw
really
you
well.
guys in the moving truck,
Hmm.
and you're
Right.
using, so you have your own truck that you loan out,
Right, correct.
and you're using that obviously.
Yep, we without that we couldn't bring all the supplies
Yeah.
and actually fill the truck and
Move toys and all that.
right. Yep, and all our toys go to Children's Hospital right here in Plano up the road.
Okay.
So kids that are in the hospital, people don't realize that they have nothing to do.
Right.
So what we're after is board games and card games, and also for infants. Infants need, different rattle
Playthings
toys and
and-
playthings and stuff like
yeah.
that. So it's basically infants all the way up to teenagers is what they, are catering to in the hospital. So
Okay.
Yeah, the name of the nonprofit is Woody's Toys. I don't know if we've actually said
No,
that,
yeah.
but it's Woody's Toys, and it was Paul Woodward, a friend of Todd's, like you mentioned before, out of Iowa. So it's kind of how it all came about.
So I love this. Like I meet a decent amount of realtors. I don't like having this type of realtor on the show, which is the guy that is driving around in the Porsche with the Rolex and the, it's all about the image. It's all about the money that he's making, he or she, or whatever they're doing. And every once in a while, you just ask, what have you done with the wealth that you've acquired?
Mm-hmm.
And so many of them can't answer it other than rather selfish things. So I love when I find people in the industry that actually give back. 'Cause, I mean, there's a dog here, so we donate 5% of our profits to animal shelters.
Oh, nice.
We've done that since I
Yeah.
started Element.
Mhm.
So that's my passion, right?
Mhm.
And that you guys have this passion. I just like it when agents get involved because it can be a very lucrative business.
right.
And if you do everything right, you have a little bit of luck, you can make a lot of money.
Absolutely.
And it makes sense to me that if you're going to have that level of wealth,
Yeah.
all your needs are met, right?
Right.
You're not wanting for anything. You're not needing for
Right.
anything.
The toy fundraiser is our big one, but it's also first responders. Obviously,
Yeah.
since I was a police officer, so those are our two things.
Yeah.
The toys and first responders.
We have we call it Code USA discount. It's first responders, any active or former military, teachers, and farmers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Farmers. That's a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
No, I like that.
I think it's
Yeah.
4% of the nation feeds the other 96.
Right.
So.
My
Yeah.
dad was a farmer, so
Yeah.
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 We don't meet many farmers that are looking for a house, but every once in a while
Yeah.
Yeah.
they get a
Absolutely.
discount. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
just a little
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Todd touched on it. This is probably one of the most rewarding things that I have ever done.
Mhm.
I've done real estate and I've helped out and I've done Habitat homes and, fed the hungry. Fed the homeless and those things. I've done those things before, which are very rewarding. Don't get me wrong, but this was at a whole different level when we took those
It's
toys
yours, though.
and
You're not
right.
just joining a group. It's your
Right,
thing.
right.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of it. And when we took those toys and dropped them off, and the people there were like, oh my gosh, they were so shocked the first year that we did it, they were like, y'all are one of the largest groups, the largest amounts of toys that get brought in at one time. So that was pretty rewarding to know that that's what, they do with it. So they kind of explained, they set up
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff for us, and it was pretty cool.
That's incredible. And it feeds into next year, and it feeds into, you already have a platform with the team and the real estate.
Right.
You can, all year, you can kind of start prepping
Yeah.
for it
Yeah.
and use the platform that you've built.
And I think the beauty of this now is that, and I think we want people to realize it's not about us. This isn't
Right.
about us or even our team or real estate. It is about the kids in the hospital and
Yeah.
the toys. It's not about us at all.
Yeah,
in
that's
this- in
what we
this-
stress. When we do this, we try to keep in the background
Yeah.
because it's more about the kids. It's not about us getting our name out there and everything like that.
No.
It's raising the toys, and that's what
Yeah.
we really stress is about getting the toys. In the large amount. It's shocking. And then we have all these toys, and basically Huffines was there with cars, and we stuffed the cars, our toys in the back of the cars.
They
And
were
it was just
overflowing.
overflowing. It was just cool to see. And then we take any cash that's raised because we do silent auction and we do other different raffles and stuff like that at the event. We take that and then we go shopping and we fill up cart after cart after cart. And sometimes we hit it big where they've got some big sale, where
Right.
something is half price or whatever, and we just fill the carts. That's so cool. It's just like cart after cart after cart, full of toys.
Oh, I love it.
Because then people, what's funny is it does draw the attention when you're in Walmart and you're pushing 4 or 5 buggies full of toys. They're like, what are you doing? So, the people that will come talk to you and ask what's going on.
And take pictures and
take
stuff
pictures.
like that.
And so
You know,
it's
it's
kinda
just
cool,
like,
yeah.
what are you doing? What are you doing with all those toys? You know, so it's, we tell them, oh, we get people in the store hugging us, and it's just like, it's just incredible.
We had a lady that came up to us that asked, and we'd asked her to take our picture just so we would have a photo of it. And she hugged Todd, and tears just started flowing down her face. We were like, oh my gosh. So in turn, obviously, we all end up with big tears rolling at that point. But
course,
it was kind of a cool moment that we haven't really got to see that. But
Yeah, and we do it at Christmas time, but what people don't realize, like at the hospital, the toys are needed all year long. And so the other cool part is when they're in the hospital and they may have a birthday coming up, they get to go shopping.
Right, and you don't just, it's not just for Christmas,
Right.
it's they've got a
Right.
stockpile that you can
Yeah.
add.
So what the cool part is, they take the extra toys that they don't give out at Christmas time, because Christmas is the big one. Birthdays, they get to go shopping for the toys, with fake money and stuff like that,
Oh, cool.
And then at Christmas time, the cool part is they get to buy toys for their siblings.
Oh, very cool.
And part of that is, so we're after the low price stuff. But when we get donations, a lot of times we'll get big remote control cars, we'll get bikes and stuff like that. Not really conducive to the hospital, but what they do, they still take that stuff, because then the kids that are in the hospital, they're buying that quote for their siblings for their birthday might be coming up and they're in the hospital,
really cool.
That's
or
incredible.
Christmas, so it's like they're giving presents back to their family, so it's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, that's great. I didn't even think, because if you,
Yeah, people
a
think
bicycle,
that,
you can't really ride it around
Right.
the hospital.
Yeah,
Right,
and
right.
we'll get these huge remote control cars or squirt guns, but they can get that
Squirt
for
gun.
their,
like water guns.
Yeah, I don't think the nurse would like that.
Yeah, no, probably not. It'd be fun though, right?
So people are generous a lot, and also the need is, they can't bring toothbrushes in from the outside, so they have to be prepackaged. Toothpaste is the same way. So that's one other element of this is we go to a lot of the dentists, and we'll get cases and cases from the dentists that will donate too. So that's
Oh,
kind
very
of
cool. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a dentist in Frisco this year that
Like
donated
5,000
like,
pieces.
probably
worth.
5,000 pieces of stuff. So
Yeah.
it was really awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Let's jump real quick. I want to do a little, when we're done actually filming this, we'll do a little promo so we can blast it for you guys all over. And like
Sure.
I was talking to so many agents. If you collaborate with us on social media, where it's both Element Inspection and the SWAT team or whatever it is that your brand is called on Instagram and Facebook, you get so many more views. And I try and tell so many agents the power of social media. So when we're done with this, we'll do a little, just you guys talking to the camera and,
Sure.
give us some toys, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
But you're on social media. I know I've seen you a lot. And I've seen you trickle in the feed as well. It's definitely important, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he's definitely on social
I
media.
push as many followers as you possibly
I'm
can
getting
get,
there.
and as many friends. And people are kind of afraid of that part. Oh, I don't want 5,000 friends. I don't want 10,000 followers. Well, it works.
It does work.
It absolutely does. Very important.
I know one agent. He's very successful, and literally all he puts online is like walking through with a client, and then he'll post later, my client put an offer on this house, offer accepted, and then funded and closed. Then he does just a quick walkthrough with them in their house, and it's very minimal effort. But my God, the traction he gets, thousands of people see that every day, and they just think in their head, I'm buying a house, and oh right, this guy, and it's just there. It's top of mind.
Right.
Yeah, and some people might take this wrong, but I do it. We do it. The just solds, just listed, and stuff like that. But they're boring.
They are. Yeah.
I mean, everybody does it, and so on and so forth. But if you can create an element, and I go after some stuff there, and I'll post stuff, and it will literally get like 10, 12,000 views off of it. Because it's funny. It's not about real estate. It doesn't
Right.
always have to be about real estate, but it captures some the people's interest, but that brings it back to he's an agent. He's,
Well, he posted a little meme on Thanksgiving, which was really funny.
Yeah.
He said, you guys, this is the perfect day to go out and door knock. Everybody's going to be home.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy. Get out there and get busy kind of thing. And it was kind of funny. It was one of those moments I was like, okay, I know you're kidding, but it was really
it's one of those
funny.
things that got traction.
Everyone's
It did
home,
get traction,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So
that's
it was
hilarious.
great.
We do different segments. I post Ever Wondered Wednesdays, where I just, anything in a house that someone might be wondering about. Right now we're filming one. It's a little bit longer, but it's Ever Wondered How Quartz Countertops Get Installed. So in my other job, my other life, I do contracting. And so we're filming measuring them, picking the counters, and then the fabrication. So they cut the sinkhole and then actually installing them, just doing a walkthrough of it. And people watch those videos religiously, and it has nothing to do with home inspections, or it's just curiosity.
Right.
And it piques their interest, and then it's just always element inspection, over and over.
Right.
And we get a lot of views and a lot of comments, and the power of it is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're going to blast this everywhere for you.
Yeah,
right?
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And quickly, I like asking some interesting questions about real estate. Maybe I'll ask you, walk me through the first time you got either the sale or the buy, the contract signed, and you saw the money go into your account. What was that response? What was that like? Was it relief? Was it
Well, I actually
fear?
have a funny story.
Okay.
My very first house, and they may see this on here because they're friends with me on Facebook. My very first house was a buy and a sell. I didn't really, it was we sold their house and they were buying a house. Money was tight, and we knew it was going to be on the offer, but we thought we had some room, and some things came up. It was Thanksgiving Day, and I'll never forget some stuff. The lender actually called me on Thanksgiving Day and said, "Oh my gosh, we got to talk," and I literally had to give up my entire. I gave up. I didn't have to, I guess, really, but I gave up my entire commission on my very first sale because I didn't want to lose it. I was like, oh my gosh, we got to make this work. But on the buy side, I was able to pick up that extra, my money on that side and everything. So yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, okay, this is what this is supposed to feel like, not the other way where I had to lose it all, right? But sometimes my thought process is some money's better than no money. You know what I mean? And I'm not in this necessarily. I always say I'm in the people business. I love the relationship and I love the communication side of it all. But I don't. Okay, if I don't make 3%, I don't make 3%. If somebody, you know what I mean? I'm all about making sure that my clients' needs are taken care of as well. And I think that's part of maybe why I have the repeat clients and I have the returns that I do.
Definitely not a normal first experience.
No, it was not. Not at all.
I'm a little bit different.
It was awful.
Sounds like I made a bunch of money.
It was horrible. Yeah.
Well, I've always known in my previous career as the door knocking king, so when I went to real estate, it's like, this is what I'm going to do. But the traditional realtor, how they teach you, I was like, I'm not going to do that. You knock on the door, who do you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? I was like, that's so hokey. It's like, I'm not doing that. I said, I'm going to get to know my neighbors. I'm not going to tell them I'm in real estate. They're already going to figure out I'm in real estate. I'm not going to have to talk about real estate. They're going to ask me about real estate. But I went door knocking in my neighborhood and started building relationships with my neighbors, which, I've been there for a few years and didn't really do that. Didn't really get out. So it's kind of refreshing. And then I left my information at a house, and they called me later that day. And they said, hey, Todd, we actually want to sell. This is my very first day,
Walking.
in real estate, in walking. And they say, we want to buy a house, and we want to sell our house here in the neighborhood, and we want to buy a house in Rockwall. Can you come over? I was like, sweet. I was like, so immediately I had their house under contract from the day I door knocked and closed. It was 30 days, so I already had 2 checks in my hand for full price. I was like, oh, this is nice.
That is a completely different experience than most realtors.
Yes,
So-
it doesn't normally happen that way. And I says, I am on to something here.
Yeah.
So I stuck with it, which most people don't. They give up and say, door knocking, nobody's going to buy from me. Nobody's going to sell from me. I said, I did it my very first day.
Yeah.
That September, it was slow. This was February when I started doing that. And it was slow every month. But in September, I got 8 listings by doing that.
That's incredible.
And then I got a whole bunch more in that following October. By the end of the year, I was, named Rookie of the Year because all those sales just came from door knocking. They just went boom, 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 one after another. I mean, just a whole handful. So my first year, it was like 20-some sales just fell in my lap in
From
3
door
months
Mm-hmm.
knocking.
Right.
from door knocking.
Yeah.
Doing nothing else. And then, of course, I took that money. What you're asking, what does that feel like getting the money? Well, I took that money and reinvested it. And I was like, ooh, I started making a marketing plan. And that was the very first thing I did was buy a movie truck. I was like, I'm going to have a movie truck and wrap this. Very first thing I did.
Yeah, so I took a little page out of his book. I have been in Frisco since my kids were in kindergarten and 3rd grade. My kids are now 24 and 28. And I got married and moved to Louisville. And I don't know my neighbors. I don't know a whole lot of people in that area. You talk about Frisco and Prosper and Little Elm and the Colony, that's where I've been, right? So I was like, okay, we're going to start. And I have started doing a whole lot with my neighbors and really trying to break into at least my neighborhood to begin with, and then hoping that that'll trickle outside of that to help build my market area over in the Louisville area. And it's been really funny to watch because we did a huge Halloween display and had a bunch of people over and a bunch of things happened with that. It was pretty cool. And I've had neighbors walk in the street and they're like, oh my gosh, we can't wait to see your Christmas display. What did you do? And I have taken some little gifts and dropped off little pop-by gifts and things like that at their houses, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're the person that had the Halloween display.
Yeah,
so they're starting to tie things together a little bit, so it's been kind of cool.
It does.
And
It takes a while.
It's going to take
Yeah.
some time,
Yeah.
but I think I'm getting there, and I've been doing this with just my specific neighborhood for about 3 or 4 months now, and I'm starting to kind of see people or at least know who I am, so it's kind of nice.
We always give 8 months from the time we walk into an office until we expect to see a steady stream. If we don't see it after 8 months, maybe we adjust what we're doing, or maybe we don't go to the office anymore. But for us, it takes about 8 months for us to go into an office and start showing up once a month before agents really start building traction with our company and using our inspection services.
Yeah, it's everyone always says that we should be in marketing, both of us, because we try to do things that are different than the other realtors out there. Traci and I both teach an open house class, so we've traveled all over Texas teaching it.
Nice.
Because we have ideas and we have marketing that a lot of people either don't think of or don't realize that it's out there for the taking.
Right.
Marketing, you got to be creative.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
always do.
Well, and you have to be willing to talk to strangers, and you have to be willing to do something unconventional or out of the box, right? And there's a lot of people out there that aren't willing to take that risk, and I just tell them,
Take the risk.
It's real estate. Take the risk. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. All of my mentors and my mentees know that that's kind of my phrase, get comfortable with being uncomfortable because that's what this business is about.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable, then you're sitting back and probably not making much money. So,
True.
Yep.
All right. Well, Traci, Todd, thank you so much for coming
You're
on.
welcome.
yeah, thank
We're
you.
going to put all of their information down below, the SWAT team, you guys' personal information for contact you guys directly. So we'll put all that in the description below. And then obviously we'll put the toy drive. So guys, donate, please. Absolutely. We're going to get this video edited and published as quick as we can so that we get some traction. And hopefully you guys see a little uptick in the donations. But thank you so
Good.
much for
Yeah.
coming on.
Absolutely.
And look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
We appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.